Port Huron High School football hasn't always played in a fine facility like Memorial Stadium. In the early days, we used to play on the southwest corner of 7th and Griswold. And that day, the boys would go home and dress and then walk to the field. The field was one square block enclosed by an 8-foot-high wooden fence. Interurban cars were used to transport the boys to out-of-town games. All games were played on Saturday afternoons. The field was marked off on Saturday mornings by the coaches and players. In the year 1919, the games were played on the north end of Pine Grove Park. The teams dressed at the YMCA, which was located on 6th Street, and then walked to Pine Grove Park and back to the Y after practice and games. The boys then benefited from the showers and swimming pool. It was not until 1919 that the boys were provided shoulder pads and headgear. In the year 1920, this marked the modern era of Port Huron High School football. Bill Watkins spent more than 30 years as a player, manager, front office executive, and owner of various major and high minor league teams. He was a financial backer of the Port Huron Saints of the Class B Michigan-Ontario League and served as a club president in 1921-1922. The high school games were played at a downtown Port Huron field named in Watkins' honor. Watkins Field was raised in the early 1940s, but during this era, interest grew for new athletic fields. The field was 7 miles from the school and the dressing facilities were terrible. Also, crowds were difficult to be handled there. In fact, this is how one of the state's longest-running rivalry trophies began. In 1922, when a close game was had in which Port Huron edged Mount Clemens, a riot broke out after the game. Fans, players, police, and innocent bystanders joined in a free-for-all. With the outbreak of antagonism, the two schools are on the verge of canceling future games when Merv Tomlin, a local druggist, stepped forth. He offered to donate a sportsmanship trophy, which the winner would carry home each time. The schools accepted, and the keg was born. 1945 marked a new era in the athletic and recreational life of Port Huron, an era born of necessity and accomplished by ingenuity and persistent willingness to sacrifice time and effort for a common cause. Memorial Recreational Park, memorial to the veterans of World War II, was constructed at a cost of approximately $300,000. The facility included a stadium seating 5,500 people and also lighted for night football games. In the 27 acres, there are also tennis courts, baseball fields, and 4 softball diamonds, practice football fields, and a quarter-mile track. The foundation agreed to permit the school board to operate and manage the park for 20 years, while it retained a controlling lease with the stipulation that it had been operated for the benefit of all interest groups, public schools, parochial schools, and non-school groups. At the end of 20 years, the Board of Education would gain the full title to the property and facilities. The schools and community have enjoyed the facilities for over 60 years. The Memorial Park is one of the finest facilities of its kind in the state.